Mr. Lewison.
Sir, I declare my interest as Chairman of the Nee Soon Town Council, and I stand in full support of this bill. The proposed amendments will help to make a significant difference in the lives of our cleaners. Our cleaners play a vital role in our community, and yet some receive very little appreciation for the work they do for us, and for some, they receive very little income as well. This bill is a positive step forward and helps to ensure that our cleaners' work become a little bit easier, and they also feel more appreciated. I worked with our cleaners in Nee Soon East and will share some of their stories in this speech. I will also make some suggestions on how we can help our cleaners further and seek some clarifications. So this bill proposes to utilize air pressure to move waste through pipes to a bin center, which replaces the older and more labor-intensive way of clearing waste. It is an encouraging step to move towards using cleaner and more efficient processes. It will benefit our cleaners, and we can benefit from a reduction in odor issues, improve overall hygiene, and our living environment. I'm glad the government is footing the bill for the installation of the pneumatic waste conveyance system. However, it will be the town council who will maintain it, and our maintenance costs might go up. Can I ask if the government will be providing any grants to the town councils to help offset the possible increased maintenance costs, at least for the first few years? Next, since the introduction of the PWM in 2012, companies across industry have gradually rolled out the changes to positively benefit low-wage workers. In the occupational wage survey conducted by MOM, it indicated that the median basic and gross wages of full-time resident cleaners grew by 9% and 12% per annum respectively from 2012 to 2015. I support the proposed move of this bill to take PWM a step further by mandating the payment of an annual bonus. In my interactions with Nee Soon East residents who are cleaners, they have expressed appreciation of this change. So it's important for all of society to move forward together. When market forces place a downward pressure on wages of certain sectors, like cleaning, it is important for the government to intervene. The PWM and now the annual bonus is a step in the right direction and helps to lift income levels of lower wage workers. I do have some questions and clarifications about the enforcement of the PWM. How are employers who game the system in order to skirt wage increments flagged out? What are the penalties or other enforcement mechanisms in place to put pressures on companies to implement recommendations and adhere to the PWM? Can SMS also clarify whether the wages and benefits under the PWM are reset for those who perform the same job functions and roles when the cleaning service providers are changed? So the PWM is a very positive step forward for cleaners, but the issue now is that it doesn't apply to all cleaners. For example, I understand that the PWM is not mandatory for a cleaner who is hired directly by an F&B establishment. If the same cleaner is employed by a licensed cleaning company and is sent to the same F&B establishment and does the same exact work as a cleaner, PWM then becomes mandatory. I appreciate that it might not be easy for us to legislate that PWM is mandatory for all local cleaners, regardless of who hires them, but can SMS clarify what MUA is doing to plug this gap? This is important for cleaners like Ah Eng, whom I had the privilege of working with when I gained some experience as a coffee shop cleaner. She has been a cleaner for the past 2 decades, and as I shared on Facebook, quote, she was so hardworking, so caring, and so dedicated. She taught me a lot more than cleaning a coffee shop, unquote. Ah Eng's husband passed away when her 2 children were still young, and she single-handedly brought them up through working as a cleaner. Hers is a story of resilience, of sacrifice, and hard work. I understand that she's currently hired directly by the coffee shop, and as such, PWM is not mandatory for her, and she may not receive the annual bonus proposed in this bill. I honestly think that this is not fair, and I sincerely hope that SMS can look into this and ensure that local cleaners like Ah Eng can benefit from the PWM as well. Our foreign cleaners also don't benefit from the PWM, but I'm grateful that MUA has encouraged employers to incorporate the principles of progressive wages into the wage structure of their foreign cleaners. Can I ask the SMS what percentage of our cleaners are foreigners and how many cleaning companies actually apply the PWM to foreign cleaners? If such data is not collected, would the ministry consider collecting this information? The PWM is also about increasing productivity and standards. MOM states that, quote, higher productivity increases business profits for employers, Service buyers also enjoy better service standards and quality, unquote. But if we leave out foreign cleaners from the PWM and bearing in mind they likely form a bulk of the cleaning sector and workforce, how then will we achieve higher productivity, improve profits, and enjoy better service standards and quality? Can I ask if MEWA is looking into this and how to further encourage companies to adopt progressive wage principles for foreign cleaners? So can I also suggest that MEWA studies what is being done in the construction sector and see if we can implement similar policies for the cleaning sector? In the construction sector, the R1 scheme encourages employers to help their workers upskill. This increases the quality and productivity of their workforce and provides wage progression pathways for higher skilled work permit holders. Employers can upgrade their basic skill R2 workers to higher skilled R1 workers by meeting minimum experience, minimum wage or certificate requirements. As incentives, employers pay a lower levy and enjoy an extended employment period for the higher skilled worker. Will MEWA consider this for the cleaning industry? Further, at least 10% of construction workers must be higher skilled R1 workers. Would the Minister or SMS consider similarly making it a condition of cleaning business license that 10% of their foreign cleaners must be higher skilled workers who again meet minimum working experience, minimum wage or certificate requirements? This could address my earlier point and might help us to achieve higher productivity, improve profits and enjoy better service standards and quality in the cleaning sector. So I've also worked with our cleaners at the Nee Soon Town Council and experienced firsthand how difficult their work is and how back-breaking the work is. I work with Hanif, who is from Bangladesh and who has been a cleaner for the last 12 years. I learned a lot from him, how difficult his life has been, and yet how he is so full of smiles and so dedicated about making sure he does his job well for us. His enthusiasm for life was infectious, and residents love him and treat him not as their cleaner, but as their good friend, and for some, their family member. I had dinner with Hanif's family when I was in Bangladesh earlier this year, and I saw firsthand how proud they were of him and how much, and most of all, how much they miss him. Like all of us, Hanif works hard and sacrifices for his family. Hanif got married recently and his wife is now expecting their first child. So I got to experience Hanif's work as a cleaner, but I doubt we can ever fully appreciate how difficult it must be for him to be so far from home for so long. How difficult it must be to not be with his wife, who is now pregnant with their first child, and how difficult it must be to not be there for his or her childhood. So our cleaners like Ah-Ing and Hanif do a lot for us for very little. They help to ensure we have a clean environment to live in, to work in, and a clean environment to enjoy our food and drinks in. They are sometimes a forgotten group of people, and we need to make sure they are fairly treated. I'm thankful that this bill highlights the important work they do for us, all of us. It recognizes their efforts and shows how much we appreciate all that they do for us. So, being told you are appreciated is one of the simplest and most uplifting things you can hear. Let me end by saying a big and heartfelt thank you to all cleaners in Singapore, and sir, I stand in full support of this bill.